Have you ever been told that you look a lot like your mum or your dad? Does everyone in your family have the same eye colour? Or are you a mutant that looks nothing like the rest of your family?
Every cell in your body contains exactly the same genetic information, or DNA. When cells replicate in a process known as mitosis, DNA is replicated exactly. Through a process known as meiosis, cells reproduce to create 4 unique daughter cells, each with half the DNA as the parent cell.
DNA is found in snake-like structures known as chromosomes. Before meiosis, during interphase, DNA replication takes place and identical chromosomes are joined by a centromere as sister chromatids.
Meiosis can be divided into two main phases, meiosis I and meiosis II. Each of these phases contains prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. You can remember these by please make AT.
In prophase 1, genetic material condenses into chromosomes. The maternal and paternal chromosomes from your mother and your father pair up and form tetrads.
The chromosomes cross over each other and exchange genetic information. This is what causes genetic variation in sexual reproduction.
Also in prophase 1, a spindle starts to fall.
In metaphase 1, chromosomes pairs line up along the center of the cell. This process is random and leads to a phenomenon known as independent assortment.
In anaphase 1, the spindle pulls the chromosomes to opposite poles of the cell. Notice how the sister chromatids remain attached throughout this process.
In telophase 1, the chromosomes arrive at each pole, new nuclear membranes form, and 2 identical cells are formed.
Now begins meiosis II. There is no interphase in meiosis II, and therefore DNA is not replicated before the second division.
In prophase 2, the chromosomes shorten, thicken, and attach to a newly formed spindle.
In metaphase 2, the chromosomes again line up along the center of the cell.
In anaphase 2, the centromeres of the sister chromatids divide and the sister chromatids separate, moving towards opposite poles.
Telophase 2, the chromosomes reach opposite poles, membranes form, the spindle disappears, and we are left with 4 genetically different daughter cells.
Daughter cells produced in meiosis are called gametes. They are commonly known as sperm and egg. So now that you've seen how the gametes are produced, it's time to find out why you look the way you do.
You may have been told that you have your dad's nose or your mother's eyes. Now why is this? When the male and female gametes come into contact with one another, the chromosomes in the sperm cell combine with the egg cell to form a zygote. This process is called fertilisation.
As we learnt before, each gamete has a different set of DNA which produces a unique combination of genes in the resulting offspring. This set of genes is known as your genotype. Your genotype determines how you look, also known as your phenotype. This can be predicted using Punnett squares.
Punnett squares show phenotype probabilities using maternal and paternal alleles. Uppercase letters are dominant genes and lowercase letters are recessive genes.
In this family, both parents and 3 kids have black hair, but one child has red hair.
However, sometimes during meiosis, a mutation occurs during the formation of one of the gametes. Mutations are the main cause of diversity among organisms, though sometimes these mutations can have a negative impact on the organism living with the genetic mutation.
For example, sickle cell disease is an inherited disease caused by a very minute mutation in the HBB gene, which codes for the production of a subunit of hemoglobin protein in red blood cells.
The disease causes hemoglobin to form into crescents instead of disc shapes, which alters the shape of the red blood cells and their ability to carry enough oxygen to your cells.
Thanks to meiosis, fertilisation, and the presence of mutations, every human has a different genetic makeup. No one else on the entire planet has the same DNA combination as you.